guys everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the Transformers Legacy Prime Universe Arcee. So here she is in her really cool looking motorcycle. Before we take a look at her, let's take a look at the packaging. So on the front here, of course, we have an open window displaying the figure. Of course, it's not in there right now, it's right there. Of course, we have a nice shot of the motorcycle, we have the Legacy logo, we have Transformers on the side. And on the side here, of course, we have two shots of Arcee looking really cool. And on the back, she transforms into 20 steps. Of course, there's that barcode. If you scan that, it'll bring you to the stats on a website, which is pretty cool. Of course, we have a shot of the motorcycle and robot mode, which looks very cool. And if we move to the other side here, we have the Autobot artwork for Legacy. So, of course, we have Optimus, we have Hot Rod, we have Arcee, Blaster, and we have Bulkhead, and I think Cybertron and Earth. So, overall, the packaging looks really cool. Let's take a look at Arcee. Here we have Transformers Legacy Prime Universe Arcee in her motorcycle mode. I think she looks pretty cool. Let's take a look at the details. So starting at the very front, we have some nice transparent blue plastic for the front window section, some nice black for the mirrors, some nice gray for the handlebars. We do have some nice blue there for the front headlights and some gray in the middle. We also do have a really nice wheel design with some silver, some gray for this axle section, some more black on the inner section and the outside, and a nice stripe of blue. One really cool feature is you can actually move this side to side. That's pretty cool in my opinion, so you can get some really nice dynamic poses with that. On the side here, of course, we have some nice glossy blue there, some pink, some gray there for this nice kickstand, which is a really nice feature. I'm so glad they included this because recently I did get the Legacy Core Class Iguanus, and it was such a shame because I love that figure. It's an amazing figure, but unfortunately in his motorcycle mode, he does not have a kickstand, so you really just have to balance him, which is such a pain and it's such a task, so I really wish that came with one, but this figure does come with it, so that's really nice, so I'm glad that came with that. On the back here, of course, we have some more gray, some black, and a strip of blue for that wheel there, so a little bit slightly different from the front one. Of course, this does not have any silver, so that looks pretty cool. Some more pink, some blue, some black, of course, and on the top, of course, that's probably where Jack would sit, which is pretty cool. There is these ports there, but I will show you why those are there in just a second. That has something to do with weapon storage, so that's pretty cool. And on the other side, of course, all the details are repeated. Of course, this does not have the kickstand, and it also does have a new exhaust pipe, which is pretty cool. So slightly different from each side, but overall pretty similar. And what's really cool is you could probably plug a blaster piece onto the end of that, so you could look like Arcee is charging into battle, fighting some Viacons. That'd be pretty cool. One really cool detail, and I'm really glad they included, is if you look inside there, there's some really cool gauges and buttons, lots of really cool mechanical details for the motorcycle. I'm really glad they included that, and it's so nice attention to detail because you can barely see it and they still sculpted it in, so that's a really cool attention to detail. So very nice motorcycle in my opinion. Before we get into weapon storage, let's get into one quick comparison. Let me just angle her like that, there we go. And that will bring in the Transformers Prime Beast Hunters Arcee. So this is from, of course, the third season of Transformers Prime when they're more armored up, searching for the beast that Megatron's making. So definitely not the more classic one that we have here for Legacy, which is my favorite between the two, but of course that's just my opinion. So as you can see, overall, they're actually pretty different. Of course, they do both turn into a motorcycle, which is pretty cool, but she definitely has a lot more going on with her. Of course, she has some silver, some spikes coming out of everywhere, the back, the wheels, lots more crazy designs. Of course, she has some more pink. She still does have that blue, but still two really cool motorcycles that I do really like having next to each other. I actually thought I sold this off, and I'm so glad I didn't, because then I can compare these in this video. Let me know between these two motorcycles which one's your favorite. I will make sure to bring these this figure out later whenever Legacy Arcee is in robot mode, so I can do a robot mode comparison. But still two really cool looking motorcycles. I think this one's just a tad bit bigger. Of course, size has definitely changed over the years of Transformers. This one I think is about 5 years old, maybe 6. I could be wrong, who knows. Let me take her off to the side and let's get into some weapon storage. So she does come with 3 accessories, one of them being is this really cool front glider section. So that of course is the wheel right now, so that doesn't really apply for right now, but I will bring that out later whenever she's in a robot mode. But the other two is these really cool discs, or blades. You can of course peg these together, but you really can't do anything that for this mode. You can do that in the robot mode, but for now you can separate these and you can actually store these on the back. So there's these ports there, and there's these pegs, and you can just plug that right on top, and store them like this. And yes, this figure has gotten a lot of slack for the weapon storage and just the figure in general. Yes, there is some kibble here and there for the robot mode, but I think the storage is okay. You do have to be aware it's a motorcycle, so there's really only a limited number of places you can actually put weapons or blades or swords or anything, so it is hard. You gotta put them somewhere, of course. I think it just looks okay. It's not too bad, I think. It's not the worst, but still pretty cool. And there is an alternate way you can store them, so if you just wiggle these off just like that, you can get the peg from the blade, and there is a port there, so you can just plug that right into place just like that, and of course get the other one, plug it in on the other side, and do the same. So yeah, that's the alternate way of storage. I don't think this looks the greatest. I think it's the worst of the two ways you can store it, in my opinion. It looks kind of weird, but you could use your imagination. You could say she put them on her wheels so she can like slice the tires of the Vehicons so she can't chase them. I don't know, something like that. Use your imagination. It looks kind of weird in my opinion, but still, storage is storage, so you really cannot complain much. So overall, pretty cool motorcycle in my opinion. Let's now get into transformation. Let's get into transformation. So we're going to start at the back here. So what you're going to want to do is get the arms here. You're going to separate them, and then you're going to compress them in. That will reveal the hands like that. And then you can separate the wheel here just like this. And then what you're going to want to do is go to these little panel sections. You're going to hinge them in. As you can see, there is two tabs, a slot, and a slot, and that's just how that connected together. Of course, go to the other side, flip that up, just like that, and then what you can do is get the leg here, move that out, and move that out just like this. And then you can flip this around, and the arms, you can rotate them in like this, and then you can move up with the shoulder joints, just like that. And there we go. And then what we can do is we can go back to the legs here, hinge these down, just like this, and then we can start to work on the legs. So what you're going to want to do is compress the wheels, just like this, and then you can untab this section here. And how that's connected is there is these slots, and there is tabs from the foot, and that's how that works. Then you can just hinge these up, and then you can unfold the feet, just like this. Unfold the feet, just like that. And then you can hinge the whole leg section down. And there's this joint you're going to want to rotate all the way around, hinge it up, and just like that. And then we can tackle all of this. So we can kind of move the camera up. You can bring this out, rotate it, and be kind of gentle here, because this section here can disconnect, of course. It's okay that it disconnects. You can just tap it back into place. It's just kind of a pain to have to do all that. So then you can just compress this in, and there we have Arcee in her robot mode, looking very good. Unfortunately, she's kind of hard to stand, but overall, transformation is, of course, pretty simple. Here she is. Let's take a look at the details. We have Legacy Arcee in her robot mode. Let's take a look at the details, starting at the very top with the head. We have some nice pink on the sides and that crest section, some nice blue for the helmet and the eyes. I think that looks pretty good. Some nice silver for the face and the chin and the nose. That looks pretty good. For the arm here, of course, on the forearm, it's done in blue with some pink, some black for the hand and the shoulder section. That looks pretty good. Now for the stomach and chest region, we have some nice silver for the neck and in red for the Autobot symbol, and some more silver for the stomach and blue for the main chest section. That looks pretty good. Some blue for the main crotch. We also do have some black there. That looks pretty good at the top of the legs. Some nice silver for the knees. Looks pretty good. And we also do have some nice pink detailing on the inner part of the leg and outside part of the leg. It's kind of covered up by the wheel there. I think that looks pretty good. Some black for the feet. And of course, yes, you do have some kibble on the legs and on the back, but it is to be expected. Of course, this thing transforms into a motorcycle, so the kibble does have to go somewhere. Of course, it has two wheels, so they're going to go somewhere. It's just to be expected. Yes, the kibble is not my favorite part, but I'm just come to accept it. I think it's still a really good figure. So now let's move in to the accessories. So of course, we did go over them in the vehicle mode, but there is several ways you can actually store these accessories in the robot mode. So of course, she comes with two really cool blades, which you can plug together just like that, and you can, if you want to, on either arm, you can just plug that right into place there, and you can have Arcee wielding a shield, which I think is pretty cool. I quite like it in my opinion. It does follow suit, of course, with that Energon infused look they're going with for Legacy. But of course, if you want to, you can have her use the blades. So of course, you can just split this down the middle, get those pegs and ports, and just plug that right in. Do the same thing for the other arm, and just do it just like that. So there we go. Of course, they do not match the same design and look as the blades she used in the Transformers Prime show, but they're really not supposed to. This is supposed to be more of a modern, souped up look for Arcee. They're not supposed to be one-to-one accurate to the show, and I think they still look pretty cool. Of course, the ones in the show were more silver, not blue, but I still think these look pretty cool in my opinion. So, very, very nice. That's pretty much it for accessories for these two. There is a third one, which I will show you right now, which is actually pretty interesting in my opinion. So there is several ways you can actually store and use this back wheel piece. So, of course, you can store it like this if you want to and just not use it at all. Or you can unplug it, and you can actually have her wield it. So if you just get this wheel here, just get your fingernail, split it down the middle. And I think they detail this actually really, really well. I actually like the blue on the inside. That looks pretty good in my opinion. Of course, some more black in the middle, and there is a peg, so you can have her hold this if you want to, just like that, which I think is okay in my opinion. And before you say in the comment section, what is the accessory supposed to be? I don't know. I really don't know what this is supposed to be. My guess is maybe it's like a drone or it's like a disc launcher. When I first saw this when it was first revealed, I was like, it's a disc launcher, these are supposed to be little discs that like fire. Of course, they don't actually fire. There's no spring-loaded feature, which is not surprising at all. This is just a Deluxe S figure. But, yeah, you can use your imagination. I'm gonna say it's a disc launcher or a drone or whatever you want to call it. It's weird. I'm not too bothered by, whatever it is, because this figure does come with the two blades, which is really all I need with the Arcee, of course. I would be more bothered if this is the only thing we got that would count for an accessory. I'd be like, that's it? That's kind of annoying. So yeah, you can have her hold it, which is pretty cool, but you can also implement it into the robot mode a different way, besides, of course, having it as the wheel. So if we just go back here, hinge this section down, you can see there is a port right there. And of course, there is a peg right here, and you're going to want to plug this in just like that, and then you can collapse the section up, and then you have the wheels sort of behind her head, which actually I think looks really cool. No, this is not accurate to the Transformers Prime show. The wheels were not behind her like this, but I don't care. I think this actually looks pretty cool. I think it works definitely better than just being a wheel stuck on the back or as a disc launcher. I think this is the best version of this accessory. I think it really works good and looks cool. I actually might store it like this on display. Who knows? Actually, let me know what you think of this look in the comment section down below. I actually did not even know this was an option until I looked in the instructions. This actually is an official part of the toy. If you don't believe me, if you have this, or go to the instructions, it is in the instructions, and I was surprised when I first got this. I actually think it looks really cool in my opinion. Of course, you could bring out those blades again if you wanted to have the full look for Arcee, have her blades on each arm and have the wheels behind her if you wanted to. And there we have Arcee, of course, fully completed. And I think that looks really, really cool in my opinion. Let me know what you think of these accessories. Yes, they're not perfect. They're not exactly how they looked in the TV show, but that's not surprising at all because it's not supposed to. It's supposed to be more of a modern, stylized look, not a one-to-one, copy or representation of the show. Overall, really good accessories. Let's now move into some comparisons. Up with some comparisons, here we have Transformers Prime Beast Hunters Arcee, Transformers Legacy Arcee, and Transformers Earthrise Arcee, of course, which is more of a G1 accurate Arcee from the show. Of course, these two here are from the same genre, the Transformers Prime TV show. This one's more armored, and this is more of the classic Transformers Prime Arcee. So, three pretty good Arcees. I've said that name a lot today. I think probably my favorite of these three is this one right here. I know this one does have a lot of dirt because it is a shell former. I think this one was pretty much pretty positive. I think, of course, this figure is about 5 years old, so I think it was definitely due time for an update. with this new Legacy version with a really cool Energon infused accessories. Between these three, let me know which one is your favorite. Of course, there is some third-party ones out there, and I do not actually have the original Transformers Prime one. This is the Beast Hunters version, which is more armored up and souped up. I really wish I had the original. I was never able to pick it up, so if you like that one the most, please let me know in the comment section below. Let's now move on to some more Legacy comparisons. We have a quick Legacy Deluxe class comparison. So here we have Skids, Arcee, Dragstrip, and Kickback. The four first Deluxes of the Legacy line from Wave 1. I think they're overall really good figures. Of course, I have not reviewed Kickback yet. I will get to him very soon, but these three, of course, have been reviewed or are being reviewed right now. I think they're pretty good figures. Probably if I were to pick my favorite two, I have to say Dragstrip and Skids, just because they're really good figures. Dragstrip, of course, he's my favorite Stunticon, and of course Skids here, his transformation is amazing, and I love his car mode. Not to say, of course, Arcee and Kickback are bad, just I have to say they just knocked it out of the park with Dragstrip and Skids, in my opinion. Pick your favorite one or two of these Deluxe S figures in the comment section below. I think probably most people will probably put Dragstrip as their favorite, because he's just an amazing figure. I think I would have had Arcee a little bit higher up on the list for the Deluxes if they just managed to kibble a little bit better. The wheels on the legs are a big problem for me. I can, get past the kibble on the back, because you can barely even see it. It's on the back, but the wheels right here, they are pretty obvious. They kind of do stick out like a sore thumb. And I will review Kickback very soon, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Let's now move on to one more quick Legacy comparison, and then we'll move into some articulation. For one last comparison, we have a Transformers Prime comparison. We have Legacy Arcee and Legacy Voyager class Bulkhead. Two really cool, iconic characters from the Transformers Prime show that I'm so glad to have, because I was never able to pick them up. Of course, the original toys, really good, I've heard, and I've never able to pick them up. I did get a few Beast Hunter toys. They're really good, but I was really hoping for their original decos, and these definitely pass in my book as Transformers Prime characters. Yes, they do have a little bit of stylized areas, of course, like the Energon-infused weapons, and of course, they don't transform into their set vehicles, like Bulkhead here transforms into more of a military truck. Arcee, she does stay true to that Arcee motorcycle vehicle, which I'm really glad, but she does have some stylized weapons. So no, they are not one-to-one accurate to the show, and I'm okay with that, because I think they look really good. I do think they did a little bit better job with Bulkhead than Arcee. I think her kibble does get a little bit out of control here and there. I think they just did a 10 out of 10 job with Bulkhead. If you haven't seen his review, make sure you go check that out right after this video. So let me know what you think between these two Transformers Prime figures. Which one is your favorite? I think most people will probably say Bulkhead, because Arcee has been kind of on the hate right now, but I think she's still a worthwhile picking up figure. So hopefully they'll learn their lesson for future Transformers Prime figures. If they make Optimus Prime, Megatron, Bumblebee, any of them, Skyquake, just need to manage their kibble a little bit better, and I think they'll have a really good figure. So now let's move on to the articulation, and then we will get into the final thoughts. The articulation, I did take off all the accessories and the backpack piece just so they would not get in the way or fall off or anything like that, so let's get right into it. So the head is on a ball joint, so you can rotate all the way around, of course, actually very tight. You can look up and down, of course. For the arm, it can rotate all the way around, just like that. You can move out and in. There is a swivel, an elbow joint, and no hand articulation. There is no waist rotation, unfortunately. For the legs, they can do the full splits. They can kick that far forward. There is a knee bend. I can kick that far back. And there is also, of course, a swivel and an ankle pivot. So, pretty standard articulation for a deluxe size figure. Overall, very good, of course. So overall, I think this is a really good figure. Let me just straighten her up just a tiny bit. Let's now move into the final thoughts. Get into the final thoughts for the Transformers Prime Legacy Arcee figure. I think overall it's a pretty good figure, starting in the robot mode. I think the accessories are really good. I like the blue transparent blades. No, they're not, of course, accurate to the Transformers Prime show, but they're not supposed to be. They're supposed to be stylized, modernized to this Legacy line, and I think they are really cool. Of course, they do follow suit with that Energon infused style sort of thing. I think they look pretty cool. You can connect them together to form a really cool shield, which is pretty cool in my opinion. There also is a third accessory, which is these two wheel pieces here. So you can, of course, store it as a wheel in the back, or you can have it like this, which I'm showing you now, where the wheels are behind her head, or you can use it as a weapon, which is sort of like a disc drone sort of thing, which does bother people because I have no idea what it's supposed to be. A lot of people don't know what it's supposed to be. I think probably they had that piece removable just because they wanted to include another accessory to urge people to buy it. Who knows, some sort of marketing thing, I don't know. If I bump into a Hasbro person someday, maybe I'll ask them. I really don't know why they did it at all, but still, I think it's pretty cool it's included because I actually really do like the look we have for it right now. Overall articulation's pretty standard for Deluxe this figure. Unfortunately, there is no waist rotation, but that's because of transformation. It's kind of locked into place, but that's not too bad. For other areas, I think it's fine. Of course, there's head rotation. Arms are pretty good. Legs are pretty good. There's an ankle pivot, which is always nice. I think that's pretty standard for Deluxe. Transformation, it's pretty straightforward. It can get a little, wiggly and kind of handly sometimes, a little messy sometimes, but after a while, you get it down pretty easy. Kind of hard to show on camera in some areas. Hopefully I showed it good. Let me know in the comment section down below. Vehicle mode, I think it's great. I think I'm perfectly fine with it. I have no problems. Really just where it falls short, I think, is the weapon storage. You kind of just really get the blades and put it on the back of the motorcycle, which looks okay in my opinion. I think it's better than sticking them onto the wheels. That just looks weird in my opinion. But of course, use your imagination if you're doing a stop motion or story. Use your imagination and creativity. You could say they shoot out like lasers or I don't know, use your imagination. But I think the motorcycle looks really good. Definitely very accurate to the Transformers Prime show. I have no problems with it. I'm really glad it comes with a kickstand. I was just baffled that with the Core Classic Iguanas, it doesn't come with a kickstand. That was a real shame, and I'm so glad this figure does come with one, because then you don't have to balance it on the two wheels. You can just plop it down, use the stand, and you can do a ton of really cool poses. So overall, this figure's good. Yes, there is some problems. It's not a bad figure. Is it a perfect one? Absolutely not. But I don't think it's a bad figure. I highly recommend to get it. Is it as good as Drag Strip? No, but you do have to be aware it's a very lengthy and skinny character, so there will be kibble sticking out here and there. Also, it transforms into a motorcycle, which is a very, very hard vehicle mode for it to actually work in a figure like this. So overall, in my opinion, a good figure. If I were to rate it, I would say probably a 7.5 out of 10. I'm ranking it because people are passing on this figure. I've seen a lot of people tell me, no, I'm not going to buy it. It looks bad. No, I think you should, because this will probably be, it'll probably be a very, very long time before you ever get another Transformers Prime Arcee. It might be, 10 years, 20 years. They might not come back to it for a very long time, so you might as well get it. It's only $20. So let me know what you think of this figure in the comment section down below. Is it as bad as you think? Did you buy it and did you change your mind? I, again, suggest you get it. I hope you enjoyed this review, and I'll see you next time.